started. Okay, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Guru Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 1415 and Doubleshot number 1309. Alright, got two Captain America trades and a Brubaker. Yeah, even after this one, there's still technically three left. This one here is one of the three last ones that was released before the book was relaunched in 2011. This is Captain America, the Trial of Captain America. Of course, by Edward Baker, art by Dan Kuna and Booch Goose. This book collects issues 611 to 615 and 615.1. If you're curious, though, about the point one thing, here's basically what it was. It was an experiment Marvel did about a decade ago. The first book to get a point one was Invincible Iron Man. Yep, that was the first one to get it with 500.1. Excuse me. The reputation of these things is that a lot of the time, one person I heard, and I read a lot of these, and I do kind of agree with some of them, but not all of them per se. Usually Marvel just does these as a quick cash grab, and also, how should I put this? Usually put really bad artists in these books. Not all of them per se, but some of them they do. The Trial of Captain America. This is a very interesting storyline that doesn't end with this trade here. Oh no. It continues with the following trade. It's technically, you can kind of say, it's a 9-part story. That this is kind of the first half of it. The next half, pretty much finishes up this numbering. Yeah, in case you're curious though, why am I not going to No Escape? Because I don't have it. And for some reason, the library doesn't have No Escape for some reason. And they also have the trailer that comes after this one, Prisoner of War. So I decided to order those things too from Lenz. Yeah, the Trial of Captain America. Yeah, something that probably not exactly been building up per se. It's something it's basically Bucky being haunted by his past. And he's being put on trial in a U.S. court for his crimes as the Winter Soldier. Now, in this storyline also, we have a subplot of Sin, who is currently the Red Skull, being broken out by Master Man. Yes, Master Man, who is somehow still alive in present day. And when he meets up with Sin, he's like, "Oh, you're one of my father's toys." And of course he comments like, "Oh, you're beautiful," despite the fact her face is not the good looking face. And then he proceeds to make out with her. Yep. And she releases some rants online about, Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier. He, of course, voluntarily turned himself in, despite the fact he kind of is Captain America. Steve Rogers is in the story, but he's not with the SHIELD. He is, at this point, he is Commander Steven Rogers, or Captain Steven Rogers, wherein basically, if you see the film Captain America, Winter Soldier, the all blue attire with the white stripes and the star on the chest, that's the outfit he was wearing at this point. So you can kind of say he's no longer having the shield. He kind of does have a shield, a energy shield per se. Yeah, this is something he actually had back in the 1990s. This is something he was using at that point. And around the same time this particular story came out, Steve Rogers had his own miniseries called Steve Rogers Super Soldier, which is a fantastic miniseries. I had a previous review that I do own. It's a great miniseries. Brubaker did a great job with it. I kind of wish they would have given him his own standalone series as well, the Super Soldier. So with this storyline, he is, of course, and we also have Dr. Faustus in the storyline, because of course Dr. Faustus is here because he's commonly associated with Captain America. He's one of his bad guys. And he's brought for the court, and he demonstrates, oh yeah, by the way, the person who's the prosecutor is Tower, as in Blake Tower. I'm thinking, really? This guy's still a DA? The guy's been a DA since the 1970s. Yeah, when he won the election from Foggy Nelson. So apparently the guy is still the prosecutor. The defense attorney is quite interesting. Blake Tower is somebody associated with the Daredevil comics, because it's DA and the course Marvel comic universe, so it makes kind of sense there. As in the case of Bucky's defense attorney, it is actually Bernie Renzo, I think her name is. She was Cap's well, she dated Captain America back in the late 70s. She dated him not long after Sharon Carter's apparent death. For I'm not really sure what was the reason to kill her off and then bring her back. I'm not sure what the reason for it was. And they refer to as old friend, despite the fact these two did briefly date. As for why they broke up mainly because I think it was differences, and they just wanted to move on to other things. Of course, Cap later dated Diamondback after this. This relationship lasted for several years. And by the time of the late 90s, he moved past Diamondback, went back to Sharon Carter, who revealed she was alive. Yeah, also Nick Fury is in this storyline, and this is well before the events of Fear itself. So, Nick Fury is an active part of the Captain America comics. That's something interesting about Nick Fury, is that this is something I think was started by Stan Lee, because if you read a lot of the older Captain America comics, Nick Fury always made frequent guest star appearances in this very series. And my guess is Brubaker must have did it because, well, probably because he did frequently appear in the series. There's probably two reasons. One, frequent appearances, common associated with the character. Two, my guess is he probably had to make an appearance because it was an editorial mandate. That's a possible one. Or three, he probably wanted to do it. And so, they even had briefly Faustus demonstrate in the story when he was put on the stand, where he demonstrated his brainwashing powers, where it actually does work. And then, basically, he does change his plea from guilty to not guilty to guilty. And, of course, the American government basically just pronounced him not guilty. And then we have a big curveball. Very, very odd curveball. When Mother Russia shows up and says, hey, we have tried you in absentee and pronounce you guilty on all charges. And I'm thinking, okay, what charges, you might ask? Well, that's now revealed to the Prison of War storyline. Which, by the way, is a 4-parter. And in the case of 615.5, that's just an old Captain America story from the 1940s. And also some stuff in present day, mostly. That's mostly what the thing is. It's just a Captain America. It's just a Steve Rogers story, which, of course, is really good. Now, in the case of the storyline itself, this is something that probably was necessary. And I do have a theory of why this storyline was happening at this point in time. Because I think somebody at Marvel was really itching to put together S.H.I.E.L.D. back to Steve Rogers at this point. And at least it wasn't like the way it was in 2017 for obvious bullcrap reasons. But this storyline here is the beginning of the end of Bucky Barnes' time as Captain America. This is the beginning of the end of his time. The end came in the Fear Itself crossover that came out just not long after this. Though the very next story arc, by the way, interesting thing with that one, that leads into Fear Itself, which is quite interesting to say the least. But as for Captain America, Trial of the Captain America, I give this book roughly 9.5 by 10. It's an excellent storyline and well paced. Now, as in the case of the very next trade here, if I think it's Prison of War, no, it's a trade that comes right after that. This is Captain America by Ed Brubaker, Volume 1. Yes, now you're probably thinking, what's up with this? Why no subtitle with this one? Well, there's kind of a reason for this. Because in 2011, in its promotion for the Captain America movie, Captain America First Avenger in 2011, they relaunched the Captain America book number 1. But they did something quite unique. Despite the fact that we had the Captain America book relaunch number 1, but the numbering for the first volume was continued as briefly as Captain America Bucky for about 9 issues, from 620 to 628. And yeah, it was 620, 628. And then it was Captain America and Hawkeye for 4 issues, from 629 to 632. Then it was Captain America and Iron Man for 3 issues. This was 635 to 630. This was 633 to 636. Yes. There was also 635.1, which was basically Captain America Namor. And the last 4 issues of this book, from 637 to 640, it was Captain America and the Black Widow. Brubaker wrote from 620 to 628 when it was Captain America Bucky. When it became Captain America and Hawkeye with 629, Colin Bunn took over the book, and he was the writer from that point forward. But in the case of this is basically the relaunch of Captain America. As a matter of fact, this issue was the first issue of this thing was actually was released the very same month as Captain America: First Avenger. And in the opening issue, we have the funeral for Peggy Carter. Yes, she died. She died off panel, and they had her buried in France because she was part of French resistance, so they had her buried there. And of course, Sharon's very sad about this. We also have somebody from Cap's past appearing in this story arc, a guy named Codename Bravo. He apparently was a soldier of World War II, who was a soldier no one really knew about, who was superhero work back then. And we also had something really awesome happen this opening story arc. We had Cap versus a giant Captain America robot. That was really cool. And we do have brief appearances by the Falcon. And in case you're curious, though, where is Winter Soldier? Where is he in all this storyline happening? Well, after the events of Fear itself, he decided to fake his death. Anyways, yes, after the events of the Fear itself storyline, Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes, got his own ongoing series by Brubaker and some other writer. It lasted 19 issues for ending it at a particular issue. Now, this book collects the first 5 issues of Captain America Volume 6. Yeah, Volume 6. This volume lasted for 19 issues. And it's really good. This was a really good story. We also had Gustavo Kamakali, who co-draws issue 5 with Steve McNiven. I met Steve McNiven, great guy in person. Interesting thing with Steve McNiven, like in the case of another artist I previously talked about, I think it was Brian Hitch. Steve McNiven has got experience drawing Captain America, mainly in Civil War 1. Yes, seriously, that was the last time he drew him that I could think of anyways. But for the first story arc to start off this particular very brief run, it's really good. Yep. Though Codename Brahma himself is actually stopped by the end of the storyline. And, well, with the very next story arc, it kind of, in a way, begins There was also something that happened at the end of this book where you had sort of Captain America he's having, let's say, hallucinations of him having his serum stripped from his body and going back being the frail guy he was before he got the serum in his body. This, of course, is first of 2 times that this officially happened to Captain America. The next thing that's happened would not be at the end of this came in 2012. This would not happen again until 2 years later when it happened again, this time at the hands of a character named the Iron Nail. Though about 2 years later, he got the serum back, and he was back being young again. Though at that point, he was turned old. Though him being stripped of the serum, being turned to frail, that didn't last very long. Yes, but as for the start of this particular run, is actually, of this relaunch, it's really good. Surprisingly, this volume didn't last as long as a lot of other volumes for Captain America. Though it is longer than Volume 2 for Captain America, it is pretty much by far the shortest volume to date. Second shortest volume to date. Yeah, second shortest because the second volume was only 13 issues. This volume was only 19 issues. Other volumes lasted for a really good period of time. Though the volume that came right after this one by Recommender, that only lasted about 6 issues longer. Oh, you might be asking. Here's something quite unique about Brubaker's one for Captain America. No annuals. Yeah, no annuals. Which is quite strange for Captain America. And if you come to think of it, it's been 20 years since his last special annual was released. That's quite strange for Captain America because Iron Man's had a few annuals published since 2001. A lot of other characters from Marvel Comics have annuals, but not Captain America, surprisingly. Nope, he's had a few, anniversary one-shot. He celebrated 65 years. There was one for his 70th anniversary from Marvel Comics. They had one for him there, and I think they recently just had one for 80th anniversary for him. But no annuals, which A lot of people think it's quite strange the fact there was no angels for Captain America. But does he really need it? Not necessarily. Also, I got to point this out though, they changed the logo for Captain America for his relaunch. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they changed the logo for, because if you look at, let's say, the previous line for Captain America, it was more of a regular 3D logo that was kind of a nod to the 70s style of Captain America from the 70s logo. That's what they went with here. And here, they went with a metal 3D logo, which is quite interesting to say the least. I'm surprised no one really talked about this particular thing. Me, not really a big issue. You can tell it's Captain America, but it's quite strange that the logo looks a little different, because the previous logo was a retro logo. This is a brand new logo that they basically went with. Oh yeah, in case you're curious though, did they actually go for this in the very next line for the series? Let me take a look at that here, just to be on the safe side here. I don't think they did. Let's see here. No, I think they actually just shrunk the logo. They kind of changed the logo a bit when Rick Remender took over. Yeah, where it's basically the captain is basically regular letters, and so it's all like smaller than the regular one, and also the America is basically red, white, and blue. That was basically for that book, and for all new Captain America, they kept it the same thing, except they put the new all new in it. Yeah, so it's interesting though that Brubaker started off with the old retro look for Captain America for his logo, and then they just went with this metal logo for some reason. It seems like a bit of a 21st century style thing. Go with the whole metal logo thing. Does it really tie into anything? Not really, no. But I give this opening story arc a 9.5 out of 10. Really good. And, well, not much else to say about it. It's really good. So, okay, so that's it for Cycle of You. Stay tuned today, later on today, hopefully for my review with my friend Edgar. We're talking about AEW Double Nothing. And maybe Nerd Comic Corner, okay? Next video. Bye.